whilst we talk this morning. I watched a lot of these videos recently where these women are like cleaning they're cleaning houses and stuff. Whoopsie daisy-o. Where women are cleaning their houses while they, or cleaning other people. Honestly, now I'm lying, I guess. They're cleaning other people's houses usually. Someone who has a lot of cats, but they don't make fun of them. And hold on, I gotta go to the bathroom. I just wanted to leave you guys with a good view of the mess to get you started visually digesting the next part. So like that if anyone shows up randomly, I don't want them to feel like there could be a nice background that's going to show up in a few minutes and things could I want the food. Yes, I'm shamelessly wanting the half-eaten food in the video. I really have to go to the bathroom. What we need is we need something that will hold this. There. Look at that. It's a cacophony. And just for the record, I have my soothsaying device. Can you see the readings? Can you see the readings before I use the restroom? No. Soothsay, don't hide. Can they understand? Get a number 6. This is my 1 through 20 soothsaying device. I can ask it anything. Will Dead Wolf show up this morning? 8, probably not. Is it because I mentioned him in a post? Yes, probably 19. I didn't say anything bad. It's just that I realized I was afraid of hurting myself. Because Jeffrey Doherty is a segregationist and I am not. And I don't believe in segregationists for reasons I'll explain. I don't believe in segregation. Okay, so now that we've taken care of that, as soon as I started my live broadcast, the urge to take a huge number 2 hit me. And as everyone knows, the feeling immediately during and after delivering a huge shit is rival to an orgasm in sex. And if you are going to disagree with me about that, you need to post it in the comment section right now, because I think that there's not going to be a lot of disagreement. Let's just be straight up about that. So, you're going to get to watch a house get clean today. This is going to be a 4 to 5 hour chat. So at any point you start to get tired, and this just gets to be too much, you go home, take a break, take a shower, wash the conversation, the mess you've seen off, come back as soon as it suits you. In the background, we're going to play a little bit of something I like to call Just Dance. And in order to avoid the copyright laws, so that we can dance and clean, we are going to, hold on, things just got complicated here. Tracing this wire back to the source. So, for a woman, I went to bed at 6:30 last night. Emotionally exhausted. We're going to get into that. So this morning, I was talking to myself before I started this video on the topic of church. And I had been talking to myself from the time I woke up, which was probably at like 4 in the morning, until now. So I was like, why just talk to yourself when you can get a live audience? Now, they may not be captive, although that would be fun. But they're still live. And there's a chance someone's listening. And if I do this all alone, nobody would be listening. For sure. So here we go. My theory first is that when you go to a public school, do they segregate autistic children from children who have active psychosis and other learning disabilities? Yes, they do. Why? Because they find that the symptoms of the two groups do not do well together. And they have a hard time learning. The needs of the two different groups of kids are so different that they can't learn together. And you can't put them in the same class with the neurotypicals either, or it disturbs the whole thing. And when you go to a church, you notice there is really no place for neurodivergence there. This, and I know there's a lot of other ways, a lot of other people would like me to go after church, but churches are not really made of bricks. They're mostly made of people, as said by Crass. And the kind of people that attend them are primarily neurotypicals. And you see an institution that people claim to go to with as much frequency almost as a public school, and yet there's nothing there for neurodivergence. And so there's some studies I've read that show that autistic people are straight up traumatized if they go to a Christian church afterwards. It's because your social environment, it's just like you're acting like your Jesus doctrine is going to just push through your social environment, and you're not thinking like, hey, school teaches, George Washington and ABCs and 1, 2, 3s, and yet that they still have to separate the autistic kids for them to even hear a goddamn word you're saying. So why would you think it's okay in a church? So I came to this conclusion, if you start to think of people as like fish, okay? Fish. Then fish go to the stream where they feel comfortable. So say like you have a saltwater fish. If a saltwater fish is operating within its normal, healthy range, it is going to go naturally to a place where the salt in the water is at the concentration that the fish thrives in. Fish also thrive at different levels, like under the ocean. Some need to go really deep under the ocean and they need that pressure, and some can go back and forth, and some need there's some fish that can swim into a bay where there's super high salinity that another fish would literally just couldn't even make it, right? So fish naturally go to the area where the salinity in the range is healthy for them. And so if you consider people to be like fish, then churches have a salinity and a range, okay? That is there, that's really good for neurotypicals according to the studies we have. But if we were to go ahead and, since we're going to clean on camera, I don't want to start cleaning off camera. Um, if we were to go ahead and start to think about it, though, a church would have to have the facilities for neurodivergence, or else by nature you're traumatizing them or giving them no place to go. If you really believe that you're the right answer. I'm not even a Christian. I'm not even a Christian. Because and I still will tell you that there's no place for neurodivergence or getting traumatized in church. There's no place for them. So one of my theories is that when you look at people's teeth, you can tell whether or not they're in church because they want to be, or whether they somehow got guilted into it and they're just being held in place through some sort of mind control or coercive control or some shit like that. If you go to church and your teeth are in good shape and you've been going to church for a long time and you have healthy teeth, it's probably a good environment for you as a fish. But if you went to church and during the time you were at church your teeth went downhill, or you started having dental issues, then church is not a good place for you. If you started to get autoimmune problems or anxiety attacks once you started to go to church, it's not a good place for you. Salinity is too high. Densities, they don't have programs for people who are autistic. They don't have anything for neurodivergence at this point. They don't even, and normal and neurotypicals get scared of neurodivergence even in a public school system. You think that if you try to introduce them into a church, they're going to have some other experience? It's one thing to see an autistic person stemming in a classroom, but what if they start stemming in church? Are you going to say that they're having some kind of Pentecostal revival and throw them out? Look at them funny? There's no place for them to go at this point in your church. Next, autistic people are going to question every single thing. If you ever give them a place in the church, let's say that you did. Let's say that let's just for a pretensy moment, even though we're not Christian and we're not rabbi and we're not into any other little groups right now, but let's just for a pretensy moment say to ourselves, hold on, I don't want to get a copyright over this. Hold on. No, back up, no copyright for us. Let me turn on your storm clouds so as you don't hear the music. The reason why the church is just kind of pretending to ignore the issue, in my opinion, is if I was the church, I would be doing it to be strategic. Because think about it. If autistic people are given an equal say or equal rights within a church, they are gonna impartially. You ate your bed. I'm scared. I am so. Hi, scared. If autistic people were to go to church and be given a fair shake, the problem is that they would fairly question all of your doctrines, and your pastors would have to sit down and have long meetings with them and explain themselves over everything that they do, and all of their church finances would soon have to be accounted for, and all their church doctrines would have to be accounted. Oh my God, and the next thing you know, and then what would happen? Right? You give a mouse a cookie, the next thing you know, they're going to want a sandwich and a glass of milk. Wait, I'm not supposed to pick anything up off the floor yet till we get to the floor area. I'm only cleaning where you watch. Storm clouds so that I don't get the copyright. Ready? I highly recommend these. They're made with sourdough and rye. If you're going to eat bread, they say go with sourdough and rye because the other ones, and then toast it. This has all of those things in one. Background, it will make me very sad. The AI is not going to do it. I don't think you can hear it clear enough for you to really get a... Okay, so... Toothpaste. This is a urea stick. This is actually pretty good for your... We're also in a worldwide dance championship. so strong, it blows air like, oh my god, the air is blowing. Like it creates a wind system off the shower head. Stay in the pocket. It creates a wind system. That's my little brother. Rudolph is taunting you. My cat. She don't want to play. She just wants to ride on. But she can have a motorcycle. She's a cat. They don't need it. No requirement. They're so fast and sleek footed. Cat food? I don't even know what that means. Is there such a thing as cat food in this world? Can the audience tell me? I don't know. I don't remember. And that humans eat cereal in the morning or eating, that humans never eat cereals for breakfast, lunch, and dinner unless they have very nice parents. And here I give you this captain. Yeah, but you catch lizards and mice. You were eating their brains and their guts, and this is just be a supplement. I know, lizard is lizard. Chicken is chicken. It's a shock. Some humans thrive when they find out. It might be a cat that does that, I don't know. Yep, okay. Next. I have to clean this up because I have a little ritual. If you take about a half, I can't tell you what to do because it becomes medical advice. I take about a half teaspoon of baking soda a day with some water. It keeps your body, I mean, they say it keeps your body alkaline. People that live in like farmer regions like South Dakota, baking soda is the cure-all. Like the family's dirt, the good dirt that the beets grow in. I handled so much dog poop the other day that, and I had a quasi nervous breakdown setback for like 4 days. I didn't clean my house because I was not picking off. The first week, everything was great. It was like I had found another soulmate and I was in love. And I was like, we are going to hike and here at sunset. Then I brought her brother home a week later. And it turned out her brother was overwhelmed with a desire for his sister, even though she was fixed. And he started like busting and breaking kennels and dog runs that are like basically she would stay in them while I was at work and stuff like that. But he started breaking everything and breaking it from her. And then he had a hematoma. Okay, I gotta leave this part in. So when I decided to take her brother home from the shelter too, they were like, that's fine, she's already been fixed, but he hasn't, we can't release him until he gets fixed, so he has to get fixed before you take him home. Okay. So, what happens? I'll tell you. When I go to pick him up, he has a huge hematoma, which is basically his entire ball sack, and his pee-pee and the junk around it was like really red and purple and swollen and looked pretty bad. And they said that the vet said this happens sometimes with male dogs, and that for 2 weeks he had to be kept away from, he could only go for like 5 to 10 minute walks a day that were calm, and that he could not be allowed to play with his sister, who was his best friend, for 2 whole weeks. Then they sent him home with me, knowing he is obsessed with his sister. I'm sure they have a lot of people they deal with every day, whatever reason, but he is obsessed with his sister, and so he was breaking everything to play with her, and they said if he plays with her, it could make his hematoma burst, and then he could have to have his balls and his pee-pee chopped off and some extreme surgery. And I was like, oh my God, and then now the only thing he wants is to play with his sister, and you're telling me if I let him do it, that he's going to lose his junk. And so I got so stressed out. That's why my house looks like this. I got so stressed out trying to keep these dogs apart. So he went and lose his teeth. And his balls or whatever. And some horrible surgery. And then by the time it got so bad, I realized, I was like, oh my God, I can't keep them apart. I'm unable to keep them apart without, there's nothing he can't break out of. He's so strong. He's not a bad boy, he's just so strong. And he loves his sister so much, and he's not at all. And so, he just met me. And here I am, the bad guy. He's seeing his sister, who's his best friend for the first time in how long? And the only thing I want to do is separate them. And I told the people at the shelter, I was like, you put me in a bad position. These two are like Romeo and Juliet. He doesn't care that she's fixed. And quite frankly, I think she's his half-sister too, by the way they look, but I could be wrong. I was like, he's so after her, and I was like, this Romeo and Juliet, the only thing he's done now is set me up so that the first and only impression he's ever going to have of me now is that I'm the bad guy. I'm his, what is it, the father of Shakespeare, in the Shakespearean play, the father of Romeo, who's like, you can't be with this gal, right? And now you've set me up. And I was like, I didn't get mad at him, but I was like, that's what happened. And you should have, and I brought him back and I said, can you, and they were they were very nice about it, and after that they were like, look, you're right, we didn't even think about it. They weren't even like offensive at all. They were like, you're right, we didn't even think about the fact that keeping these two separate with his hematoma, unless you have like massive professional equipment, is probably going to be impossible. That's fine. We'll keep him for 2 weeks until his hematoma is cleared by the doctor, and then he can come back. And I was like, okay, great. That means I get to keep my girl dog. This is okay. But then my boy dog will come back in a couple weeks. Everything will be just fine, right? Wrong. Maybe it could be, but no. You want to know why? Because she saw me put her brother in the car and take him away. And when she watched me take her brother away, she had a nervous breakdown. Before that, I could take her to work with me, and my client has a cat and a dog, and if they're kenneled, she would ignore them and even just act curious, but ignore them. I could take her to work. She'd be fine with my client. I have 2 jobs. She couldn't go to both my jobs. She'd have to go in her dog run while I was at my other job. Even though she could break out, I know she technically could. It was really well built, but I know she can, because after her brother broke out, she broke out over and over again. It didn't matter. She had broken out before, but once I explained to her I needed to go to work, she would actually just stay in the dog run until I came back from work, and then she'd go to my other job with me. And so everything was going great, but when she saw her brother taken away, like, I'm trying to say, like, he's only gone until his hematoma's better. But she's so upset that I turn into bad guys, she has a breakdown, my dog, and she starts to try to go after my client, my cat, my client's dog, and when I go to try to put her in the kennel, she starts struggling to the level where I feel like she's going to bite me, not once, but 5 consecutive times. And I was like, now I feel unsafe, she might bite me. And so I took her back to the shelter. It's a no-kill shelter, and I dropped her off. Because I think if I had waited to take her brother home until Hematoma was better, the whole thing may have gone over just fine. But it put me in such a bad situation that there was no way for the dog situation to work out. It's a no-kill shelter. She had, a week away from the shelter or whatever. But for me, I attached to her so strongly and was so emotionally attached to her that I have been crying. Like, my nose is kind of red, my cheeks are kind of red. I've been crying for since I dropped her off, pretty much nonstop, because I love her so much. And when she went to struggle with me, and I have PTSD, and I felt like she could bite me, it was too much. I couldn't do it. And I still am thinking about getting her back, but I know that it wouldn't work out now, because now that this incident has happened with the client, the cat, the dog, and me, it's like she's not going to get that clean slate to come back in the house, even if I want to do it. I don't think it's going to be possible. Because I have to remember, she's like she's going to bite me, and if somebody's trying to bite me, I can't actually ever do it. So, which takes me back to square one, which is I used to not get dogs. Even if I got a dog that was technically like a stray, like people say like a stray, like a shelter dog supposedly, in my entire lifetime I've almost gotten no dogs from shelters. That does not mean that I will not take a stray dog to an extent. What kind of stray? So like if I have a neighbor, like I had a lady I knew, and she's like, my neighbor has this really nice dog. And this dog that's a block away that we've known for 3 years broke out of his yard, broke into her yard. We know the mom dog, we know the dad dog. Both the mom and the dad are really good dogs. We've known them both and seen their temperament over the course of years. It was an accidental pregnancy, and the people never intended for their dog to get pregnant, and she's getting fixed immediately after the puppies are born. But we know both the mom and dad for years. Then I'll take the dog, because I was taught by one of my foster mothers, one of my second mothers, Patricia Weisleader. She's very dog oriented, and she said with dogs you really need, it's best because they have teeth and you sleep around them. She said it's best if you know both their parents, or you know somebody who knows both their parents and can tell you what their parents are like. Without knowing what their parents are like, the gamble is so high. It's not really whether they're purebred or not, it's whether you know their parents or not. So like if I know a dog and the people tell me like I know the background of this dog, I know the background of the parents, then it's a reasonable thing to start off with to start off with the puppy and train them, and maybe even take over a dog if the owner passes away and the dog has a very good history. In some cases, if there's a really good dog and someone dies and you've already known the dog and the dog likes you, maybe you might do that, or maybe not. Sometimes I think dogs want to be put to sleep when they're owner's die. A lot of times. And I think the amount of times that it happens that people don't honor that. I know you think that just because a dog is like going to want to live because the human would want to live, but some dogs would, but some dogs would rather be put to sleep. Dogs that are bred like the way that the ones that live with Egyptian pharaohs, they would rather be than be given to a new person. Because it makes them feel bad the rest of their life. It depends on the temperament of the dog. If it's a small dog, they could change people. Small dogs can change people, and sometimes large dogs can too, but certain breeds of dogs have such an emotional time that you have to ask yourself, it depends. I think it depends on the dog. I think I need to clean the coffee filter basket better. Let's not see all that part's no fun, but the next part of the story is not fun either. The dogs both, when they were separated from each other, they were reasonably sized dogs, and when I had them separated, when they felt that I was like monitoring so they couldn't immediately escape, they both took the most massive shit you could imagine, rolled themselves around in it, and spread it on everything in unison due to the separation that was only supposed to be separated. Now I wonder if the shelter knows that those two can't be separated and if they're going to put one of them to sleep. Then it really would be wrong to do it. I think it's a no-kill shelter, so I don't think that would ever happen. so dirty that I'm still kind of like stumbling around. Like, literally, I have to be in a clean place or I feel disassociated and yucky. Like blurry kind of disassociation. Not the sweet, pleasant disassociation. That basket needs to die. I'm not saying it just to impress you. Oh my god. Whatever! Okay, here we go. This has to dry. I don't think you can just put it back in there. If you would wipe it out and turn it on for like a split second, I'll bet you could. This is my wonderful air fryer. I gotta tell you, you can cook the amount of things you can cook in there. Hold on, I gotta get another components for it. Talking about some things this morning with myself because I feel like I was here in about 89, 92, and then something happened, and then I woke up and it was like 2026. And then I have all these parts telling me, hey, you have multiple personality syndrome, and you're just a part that just doesn't know about it yet. And then I was like, another part of me was like, oh, they don't call it that anymore. And I was like, what do they call it? Oh, they call it dissociative identity disorder now. And I was like, wait a minute. Okay, disassociation implies multiplicity. Okay? So multiple and disassociation, essentially equivalent terms. So what's the difference between personality and identity? Dissociative identity. What's the difference between a personality and an identity? Oh, nothing? So you just renamed it to confuse people. Because it was obvious, it means the exact same thing. Wow. And then I was like, oh, my grandmother used to say that mulattoes had the most beautiful skin color. And then another part goes, no, this one was a real life person. And he goes, that's a bad word now. And I was like, in the 80s, they said mulatto on the news. And he's like, now it's a bad word. And I go, why? Because it means you're mixed. You have your black and white together. And I was like, wait a minute. If you had a drink and one was called mixed and one was called mulatto, you would choose the mulatto. It sounds just like gelato, which is everybody's favorite. Now let's try again. What if it was a suit? A mixed suit or a mulatto suit? The name mulatto sounds better. Well, who told you mulatto was a bad word? Mulatto sounds better than mixed. Like, mulatto doesn't... When did this become a racial slur? Okay. All right, everybody's just changing everything up. Whatever. Say whatever you want. Say whatever you want. Who cares? Who cares? Okay, so first of all, let's see some things I like about Jeffrey Doherty. We're running the air fryer to sort of cook it out. Things I like about him, he cracks me up. I think his sense of humor and his dry wit are hilarious. I think if there's a tribe of comedians, I think that Will Ferrell and Jeffrey Doherty both belong in some sort of strange alien tribe. I think the majority of people count tribes by external things like, oh, you're white, you're black, you're from Europe, you're from here, you're from there. I have a friend who was in the CIA, and her name is Patricia Weisleader, and she's written some books on fringe science since she's been out. And you can go get them on Amazon, and she'll tell you that she thinks your predominant genealogy is not your white, black, this, that, the other. Those people are misled. It's the underlying Bigfoot, genie, fairy, fucking Nephilim. It's your actual ancestry on your... They're not aliens. They're more like the native humans. That is more indicative of what tribe you consistently stick to. And that's why you can see the same behavioral traits will show up across different races. And so segregating according to race is very misleading. Very misleading. People run into this. So if you guys ever run into this situation where your blender, you know you've cleaned it, but you know that underneath in this area there's stuff, but you can't get there because you can no longer remove it. So then what do I do? I clean it as best as I can, and then I put it in the refrigerator. We actually are back online. Is this legit? Fucking. I'm reading my messages now. Let's see. I'm scared. I'm so scared. My dog is wearing a witch costume and has a cauldron and casting spells. Scott, this is the first legit comment I've seen almost all morning. Wait. Scott, levitating and casting spells and wearing a witch costume and has a cauldron and is casting spells. This is the normal behavior of dogs, Scott. And to be honest with you, if you're a real person, you pay attention, you're gonna find them playing poker. Fucking around with world politics, To hear that your dog's been levitating is, yeah. You feel bad. I feel bad for you, ma'am. No. Don't feel bad for me. Feel bad for yourself. I know, don't have pity on me. Have pity on yourself, Scott. For realties. Real pity on your own self. And your mother, who are gonna both wish they were never born. Alright. Let's see, can we actually find Scott's traps him? No, where does he live? Hold on. Let's see, Scott. Where you at? How do I find this guy? Okay, well, I'll hunt him down psychically. Then when he looks in the mirror the next time, he'll see my face, and then I'll kill him. But I will never leave my house. I'll be here, and I can never get arrested for it. Fucking. Fuck you. Yeah, fuck you. So sorry for yourself. Alright, so where are we at here this morning? Yes. So now that we've gotten the losers off the channel, finally. 4 thumbs up. You must all be total loose gooses. Let's see. Back to the cleaning. We have a big day ahead of us. What time is it? We have a second job. Just wait till you see this next cleaning job. It'll make the other one... I don't even know. The next cleaning job is so bad, it's going to make this one look like... You're going to just wish you were staring in space. So what I'll do is for the second cleaning job, I'm going to listen to Into the Fray. And then I'll come back and maybe I'll comment to you on it later. Okay. I have so much work to do. I'm debating, do you take a shower first, or do you, what's the plan, you know? Well, because if I take a shower, I could go online to do, deliveries, but we did get this part of the house clean, for the record. Okay. Dog kennel. I find the right tool, this is going to be watchable. What is going on? You're right. You're right. That's not my normal voice. Connect to this network. Why are you unable to connect? No. One. Hold on. Okay. Yeah, I can't even navigate that right now because I don't even have like the tools to get there. So we're gonna change focus for a minute. 12 that cannot be openly accomplished. With its other Oh shit. was saying that I'm no longer committing myself. I heard Into the Spring say something, and I was like, you know what? It's one of those shameless moments where I steal something that someone else said because it sounds good. And Into the Fray / The Amazing Atheist said that he was no longer committing himself to any opinion he had either the day before or the following day. That such things were over. It was unneeded. And I said, you know what? I started thinking about it, and I was like, this is a wise idea. I like it. We just haven't got it. Should we do it now and then come back? Alright, we're gonna go off the world dance floor a minute, even though we haven't been dancing. And you're gonna go see the other mess. The mess that makes this mess look like... What are messes anyways? The mess that will make you... I don't even know if they want to see this one. The next mess is so messy that I may have to take you off this main camera while we have discussions. I have a client who lives next door, and I work 2 hours a day at the client's house, and took 2 days off work. Obviously, I didn't clean my own house either. That's fine, I'm allowed to take 2 days off work, but when it happens, when I go back to client's house, it's epic. It's so epic that the health department almost feels like a call. It's really severe. I wouldn't mind doing this dance, but I can't do it right now. Off the world dance floor. Yes, we'll come back. Okay, we're going next door to the client's house where you are going to assist me in a... We still have to come back here and deal with more stuff. In the wizard's lair, but no, it's not. Does it make it look like that? It doesn't mean it is. Wizards have had such a bad reputation lately. I'm trying to come up with a less politically loaded word. How about, no, don't call them wise guys. Who said that? That was someone in the audience. Blame them. If you're a hacker, go find my audience and get them in trouble for everything that I do. If you find anything, if you spent the time to get here, you feel that there's something I should be in trouble for, blame it on my audience. Please go get them. Well, the reason why I say that is because I've been analyzing the story of Moses in the Bible, much to my chagrin and in part against my will.
Because I read the book, it's like a rumination fest. Sometimes it comes up. And depending on the personhood of Moses, the whole if and of God put Moses on a string and put him on one side of the table and everybody else on the other. I think that's really what that was that when the people didn't work out, God was saying that this was serious. God, G-A-U-D, was supposedly going to do a party ass on their ass. And so then Moshe was like, okay, well, no, why can't you have mercy on them? And God's like, I only have mercy on who I can have mercy on. So then Moses was like, fine, if you can't have mercy on them, then I'll do the same thing they're doing but worse. Instead of a golden calf, I'll make a bronze serpent on a stick. Instead of a little party, a little dance fest, I'll turn the rock of Meribah into something that makes your little golden calf party like a blip on the radar. And that is what he did. And he created 21 magicians and he went the other way. Bam. Now, who do you blame for it? Me? I blame the whole nation of Israel and all of the people on the earth. Because Moses, if he hadn't been mind controlled from birth, from child abuse, he would not have been able to make that decision, so it's everybody else's fault. All right. Going next door. No, you thought my house was messy. This one, that got just 2 days of not cleaning it. This one will make the previous house. The previous trial will look mild in comparison to this one. There's an apple of questionable signature out there. Okay, let's open the curtains first. It looks like a... Believe it or not, I've already been over here. Darkened den of iniquity over here. You and I are having conversations live on YouTube. Let's talk about world politics together as I clean your house. Use your coffee pot?
I know.
No, it's the ultimate watch the stove get clean, see? Mm. Yeah, I'll take it out when I'm done and I'll wash the coffee pot because I'm going to anyway. I have this little espresso mix if you want some. It's what I made mine with. It's pretty good. You just add a little bit of... I'll put it here. Yeah.
This thing was supposed to...
So, we're discussing on my YouTube channel right now. I have exactly zero viewers, but some might show up. We have 4 thumbs up, and later on I can watch it. Usually I get between 60 and 120, so like later on you might hear us talk if you want to bring up any of your deep insights. Crickets. Crickets are true. And so, this morning I was thinking about the futility of religion. One of the things I was thinking about is, let's just pretend for a minute that every premise in religion was true. Let's just pretend. There's some universe and there's some God, and all this shit in there is true, right? Can I ask you a question? Would that turn you into a Satanist? Derek Jr. Let me open your curtain before I go much further. Or can you open your curtain, please? As I have already gotten grease on my fingers. Would it turn you into Satanist? If it turned out that the God of all 3 Abrahamic religions was a... Did your microwave run the full distance on these cloths?
Yeah.
You heard it do it?
Yeah, my chili's in the...
Okay, good. Because I was trying to sterilize it. If it turned out that it was all true, would you become a Satanist as a result? Or would you just like convert and go along with the God to not get in trouble? That would be your, I need to patch one of my eyes. It's actually one of my brain techniques. Okay. So what would you do? In this pretend fictitious world, if it turned out that the God of the Bible and the God of the Abrahamic religions was legit, would you convert to Satanism and rebel? See, what I hate is that a lot of people who really worship the same God as the Christians call themselves Satanists, and they're not really Satanists. They're not. They're just people who came up with a different way of doing the same thing
And in the end, they'll just end up buddies with those guys. All of them. Oh, yeah, come on now. That looks like that play looks obvious. I don't know if it'll stay that way. But at some point, it probably will attempt it. Do you think that the modern Satanist represents a Christian or an Abrahamic so strongly that there's no negligible difference to it? Because it's kind of become like another, if it's an anti-religion against a specific group, it's going to by nature become more like that group. Would you not say so? Yeah. Simply by reaction. I worry about that because I started listening to Eminem's music. I never had listened to it before. I never even heard it before because I was in a quasi-Amish cult. And we had our own rap music. Like, going all up in smoke, baby. We're going up in hell smoke. Because we can't change our evil ways. We're all going up in smoke. But then I turned on the radio around 2015 or 16 and I heard a song I'd heard like one other time before. It was Monster with like Rihanna, I think, and Eminem. And I was like, this is pretty good. And then like I kind of enjoyed, I didn't say pretty good in my mind because I don't use English in my mind, but I was like, I kind of enjoyed it. And so then, like about maybe a year later, I ended up, there's a longer story with it, but I ended up listening to the Kamikaze album. Now the Kamikaze album is the first album of Eminem's that I ever heard. So all you guys, while you heard like Stan and like, what's the one where he's in the like, he's like in a fast food joint. Keep cleaning, slave. He was in a fast food joint, just kidding. And like, Slim Shady, thank you. So all this stuff, I didn't hear this first. So this is a really interesting experiment because most people prefer, like if they watch a movie first, they like the movie more. If they read the book first, they like the book more. Sometimes it's always the movie more, or mostly the movie more, mostly the book more. So I was like, did it change it for me to have heard like Kamikaze first and only had heard like 2 radio songs really fire? It's true. To me, Kamikaze is the original Eminem, and the other ones sound like phonies because I heard them in reverse order. So, isn't that funny? And whatever, you know. And then what happened was, like 73 other million women out there who likely carry interjects of people they read books about and listen to music of, I developed not a crush on Eminem, but my own version of Eminem who I would turn into. We renamed him several things because he had to be put in check. He has to be put in check regularly. Sometimes we name him Potato Head. Sometimes we name him Kendall. It depends on how his behavior is. We're way more bratty and way more childish than him. And so he tries to pull this mother hen bit. We turn him into a potato head, throw him in a sack, squish it around a little bit, tell him it's a hacky sack. He'll never know the difference because there's like 73 million other women possibly who have interjects of him. He's never going to figure out which one threw him in a hacky sack, potato head, and tossed him around for fun. And it's pretty much impossible. I mean, like 1 or 2 people watch this channel, and they think that, but how many other of the millions do you think do that besides me? You think I'm the only one? I'm the only one? Well, really? No. We had to take care of a few things with that one. If you've ever developed an interject of a rock star, you'll know that they're all the same. If you develop an interject of Prince, we don't even want to talk about it. If you develop an interject of Because it's too much like kissing and telling with a woman. You can't talk about it. He's too feminine. If you develop an introject of who? Ozzy Osbourne's an easy one. He's easy. You want to know why? It's hard to keep him alive. I'm surprised he lived into his 80s. Because if you develop an introject of Ozzy Osbourne, the only thing he tries to do is jump ship. All day long. Well, if you need me to leave Earth now, I'm ready to roll, whatever you need. That's the introject of Ozzy Osbourne. It's so fucking easygoing that it's almost off the Richter scale. And it makes me wonder if that's the reason why his daughter's having such a hard time since he's gone. On this particular stove, we are not going to try to do the full, like you guys see this? This is a daily thing. We don't get all of it off ever until we move. We just get the parts that make it into a health hazard off on a regular basis. If we did it all the way every day, it would be like too many chemicals. And I only have 2 hours a day that I'm paid by the state to do this job. So we get what's done in the 2 hours, and that includes driving around and shopping. And I did take 2 days. I do take often like 2 days off a week. So when I do, I make up for it. I'm doing more cleaning. And even still, it's not enough to do the stove to that degree every time. It's not, as long as it's not a health hazard, it doesn't matter. Who needs an A+, right? Who needs the A+? No one. I don't know. I don't even know if no one needs it. What's an A+? I guess you have to have a standard of it so that there's something that you can never achieve and you should never try to. That's what I was told with OCD. You want to deal with your OCD, you got to be willing. OCD is just installed religiousness. It's like, it's pre-installed religiousness. You got to count this, you got to do that. If you don't do this, this will happen. And who knows, this ritual, you may suddenly have to do this one. So if you have very severe OCD, you could join a religion that gives you a set of rituals so that you could say, like, if these rituals really aren't enough, this other guy who told me that they were is the one who's going to face the consequences. That's the reason why people go with a religion. Most Satanists are just saying, like, well, we think that the consequences that you're going to face are going to be equal regardless of whether that guy gets in trouble or I get in trouble. And so they're willing to take their chances that their odds are just as good on their own. And so they, for a temporary period of time, take on the appearance of people who are lone arrangeros. But as we know, just like with Lewis and Clark or anyone else, they're usually still working for the main team. Even most of Masons believe in Jesus. People in the Masonic order, people from the Masonic order believe in Jesus. They think he's like Lucifer and they like him or something like that. I don't think they worship him, but they think that he's a symbol of, don't they? What do they think? Well then, I'll get my hotspots on. Can you look it up and tell me what they think?
No, they don't have vicious beliefs.
What?
They have different peoples, they have Muslims and different people there.
That's what I'm trying to say, but I've heard Masons on interviews. Do you have a letter? Giving people asking them about Jesus, and they're like, yeah, he's the bright and morning star. We love that Lucifer guy. They just call Jesus Lucifer. Can I have the lighter, please?
What for?
Just so I can let you sir. No, they call I've heard Masons in interviews. I think they're Masonic order people calling Jesus Lucifer. Serious. What did I do? I got water in the gears, huh? You have to dry it. Look, nothing's happening. Ugh. What's going on? I think I got the whole mechanism wet, perhaps. Your gas is still on, right? It was on this morning. No, I must have done something.
Let me see. I smell it.
Don't burn your face off. I wonder if I got it too wet, but I get it wet all the time when I do this. Ow! Woo! Okay.
Don't. That's what the problem is. It
Hold
comes
on.
out the top. It comes out the top. So
No,
that
it's
thing
okay.
is what makes it go to the side.
Oh, so no wonder it's really good it didn't turn on even though it normally does.
Yeah, it would.
Or I could have caught my face on fire.
It would have gone. Yeah.
That's really good. Okay, so my bad. See, I didn't. And I was like, it always works. Why is it not working this time? You don't know how many incidences I've had like this.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see. No, I've driven up a mountain road one time in the ice and the snow with all of my children in the car coming back from Anaheim Disneyland. And I started to wake up, and when I would wake up, I would look at the road, and a part of me would very calmly tell me, if you try to drive this road awake, it could be an accident that could hurt some people. And so it was like, the voice was like, go back to sleep. It didn't use English, but I'm trying to translate. Go back to sleep until we finished driving the mountain for you. And so I did. I went back to sleep. I closed my eyes, and I would crack them every so often, and it would be like, no, close your eyes. You don't want to get panicked. And when I got to the very top, about 5 miles in, I pulled the car off the side of the road. And I allowed myself to feel the shock for just a little bit, which immediately made me take a nap. So I was like, then afterwards I was like, whoa, do you know that I still, now if it's going to snow, I go out driving because I'm afraid that if it's too dangerous, I'll fall asleep and close my eyes and other people will drive me where I'm going and I'll get there safely, but it will be so terrifying to realize after the fact that you may just decide to stay in. At the time you're all calm. And I'm alive, okay? But afterwards it's like, oh my gosh. It's like the lady who went, there's a lot of cool experiences that I've had my car almost crash so many times on icy roads, like where I was spinning around in circles and then the car was like taken over as if some most trained driver ever had it, took my car over and parked it perfectly. And people around me were like, oh my God, are you secretly trained as a stunt driver? And I'm like, no, this has been going on my whole life. So like basically, if you ever talk to the lady who went through Niagara Falls and lived as a school teacher in the 1800s, she'll tell you that she made it and she spent the rest of her life telling other people not to jump off Niagara Falls because she's like, she only had like a bruise too. Both her and her cat were pretty much okay physically, but she said it was so traumatizing that she went around and told people don't jump off Niagara Falls. That was her life mission after that. And I have to tell you that I'm one of these people that I have been given like super safety on the road, like in very strange ways. And because of it, when it's raining, I drive slower than the normal driver or I get off the road. If it's icy out, I just don't get out there anymore. Supernaturally living through an experience does not make or guarantee, like the lady in Niagara Falls, that you're going to want to just jump right back in that one. You think if you're a Bible person, okay, I'm not, but let's just say you are right now and you're watching. And you remember the story where Moses gets to Egypt and has this conversation with Pharaoh, and God suddenly realizes that he didn't circumcise his own kids. And so Zipporah pulls out a knife. No, Moses is being like sucked into some like spiritual body vortex thing that was like eating him alive or choking him out or something. something was happening. I don't remember what it was exactly. Seems to me in my imagination station, it looked like
Maya did this.
the Chinese finger trick, you know, but like if it was like Voldemort's snake, and then like he would have been a goner, right? But then his wife slices the foreskin off one of his kids, throws it at his feet, and says, "You've made me into a bloody woman." And then the spirit supposedly leaves Moses alone, and he lives. Now, do you think this was one of those incidences where it was so traumatizing that afterwards Moses was like, circumcise everybody? No, I lived through it, but this was so bad. Just like me in the icy roads and the watery roads, this was so bad. What happened? That I don't want you to ever have to experience it. No, and other people just get on icy roads all the time. Yes, but once you've developed neurosis about it, I'm not saying that I'm telling you the truth. I'm just saying what if. What if? Okay. Now, looking good. All right. So going to the next area. I tried to reverse patch, so it's like patch this, patch this. So let's detail light now without issue. So really it was a miracle because I was leaning right over them. This one's acting funny though. Yeah, you're right. The only one not lighting is the one that was doing that. It smells a little gassy. Can I use your lighter one more time? I'll just leave it. The next time it lights, it'll be dried out. It'll do its thing. So I guess we just Lucky Ducks. Alright. Here, I'll bring you over my espresso stuff while you start the dishes. Hold on. You're on recording though. I actually think it's a good, yeah, you think it's all the shit. These things are old, I'm curious. This stuff right here, pretty good. I'll be back in a minute. Maybe I'll do a dish first. I don't know. If you roll a joint, I'll be able to smoking it with you. I'll be back in a minute. Wait. No, no, no. I don't even like your words. What does that even mean? I need the whole language of stuff. No, 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 no problem. Charles Manson said, he said, anybody who gets smart, if you get smart enough, you realize it's because you're stupid. The only reason you're smart is because you're an idiot. If you weren't an idiot, you wouldn't be smart. So therefore you can't brag about it anymore. So it's not a thing. I think that we have to get the bag because there's dirt. Everywhere. I see what you're talking about. It needs a counterbalance in the front. This could be right up my alley. It's gonna take a couple of steps. Ease of booty. Pretty easy actually if you're willing to relax it.
The Tesseract Legend only. Simon, good morning. You want the people to see the Simon? The Simon is Simon. Simon is Simon, Simon is Simon. That's Simon. Good morning, Simon. Next round. I might as well keep my next rounds here until therapy, probably. I'm just saying. So, Derek, what is it your favorite things about watching Into the Fray? What's the reasoning there? What things do you like about it? Do you want to discuss? Or no?
Well, because it's hard to find stuff. Most content on YouTube is like repetitive, pretty formulaic. Amazing Atheist and a couple other YouTubers try to find me like new stuff.
Did you hear his recent statement where he said he doesn't commit himself to any point of view he had the previous day or the following day?
Yeah.
What did you think about that? What's your opinion?
Yeah, that's the Amazing Atheist has always developed this kind of thing.
Do you think this is a wise position for any person to take, or just for people like him?
Well, Amazing Atheist is a guy who experiments with different perspectives over time and then sees how they turn out.
Right.
So this is like he does a lot of these kind of philosophical
So the only way to avoid being religious
The annihilation of the.
is to say that you don't have any continuity in your ideas from day to day, nor do you claim you ever will. Same here.
Ideas, you don't base yourself on ideas if you go
And
back.
if you're autistic or you have a lack of dating for any reason, it's more legitimate than anything to not feel guilt over it anymore. You know what I mean? Sorry. Please continue.
You know.
You gotta catch an eye and stand on one foot and use an odd pose in your hand to get the most out of business. The cool thing about that statement is you could say, hey, I think it's the only thing that will keep me out of religiosity. But then the next day you can come up with another one because you just said that you don't have any loyalty to it. And that way if you go out and you accidentally go on a nature scene, you don't have to feel guilty, you know, following day. These things happen. My dad, my adopted father, full-blown sociopath, psychopath, whatever, business owner, poker player, really good at it. And he said one time he went to church just for social reasons, not to get saved. And he actually blacked out for 15 minutes and found himself at an altar supposedly praying. So you can't blame yourself if you get possessed and something happens and you wake up and you're like, oh, what am I doing with this manger? It's all right. These things happen. Don't beat yourself up for it. Okay, so what's next? I feel like there's like a sponge around here. And I lost it, and I don't know where it's at. I have no clue.
It could be somewhere.
I had it. I actually had it. I may have to sanitize one of my dedicated magic like cleaning pads and use it instead. Because there's no time. though, right? I'm gonna put it in the fridge.
That's the stuff inside I'm gonna give to the chickens, the thing itself belongs to the neighbors.
So I'm gonna put it in the fridge right now because I'm not
That
sure.
chili's still cooking in the pot, still rooted.
There's no lid on your chili though, dude.
I know, I don't.
Does that not concern you?
It does concern me. It got almost dried out this morning, but I need the lid. I don't know where it is.
Oh, okay, it's amongst these dishes.
I don't know where it is. I was gonna wash it last night, but then I got really tired and fell asleep.
And this chicken, I straight up forgot to cook it.
There's no chance of any soap that I got in here, right?
No, I haven't even sure it. Okay.
Yeah, look at this.
It's strange things that happen.
Yeah, it got a
I'm gonna
little
get your
bit
lid
dried
here in a
out
minute.
though. I hope it didn't get messed up. Because it was a little bit dehydrated.
Was it?
Yeah, because the lid wasn't on it. I hope it didn't get messed up, but I think it'll be fine. I mean, chilies get reconstituted all the time. You know?
Yeah, I guess so. I just wouldn't go so far with it that you
No,
find yourself
I was
with
mostly
like
trying to get it to
a
the
chili
peppers.
that's like.
No, you see, the point of it was to mellow the peppers and get the flavor distributed. Because if you look now, the top oil layer is a thorough layer. When I put it in there, all the ingredients were in there, but like this top red oily layer, that's what
That's
the mat shows up. That's when it gets the kind of rich flavor that you like. That I think is what really gets it.
I think I kind of know what you're talking about because like Mexican women make their chili with this like
It forms a red layer or oil on it.
like a
right?
weird kind of like a burnt / oily layer.
Red oil. Yeah. Oh
I'm not going near it with that. I'll set it right here for a second.
no.
That's
It's
not
red
even-
oil that forms on the top, yeah. And I think I know what it is. I think it's the beef oil goes in.
They do like a saute.
Yeah, that's right. They saute it and then they put. That's what I did. So that the beef grease gets into the jalapenos, and then when it gets cooked, it all turns into one homogeneous kind of zest oil.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah, it's dehydrated.
Do you want me to watch that dish size? Because if you want that, I just leave it there for now. I'm not going to even stress it.
Yeah. And there's the jambalaya in there. I mean, did you see the amount of vegetables that went into the pot?
Me?
You see, I showed you. You filled up this thing. This pot right here. It's filled to the brim before they got cooked.
Oh, the jambalayas. Oh, you did show
The
me.
vegetables, yeah. And that went into the pot. And they got cooked down and then absorbed into the rice, and now it looks like mostly rice. But that's like a ton of the vegetables and then 3 different kinds of meat in there. So that's why I wanted it to be a whole meal, right?
Interesting. So you wanted to make a whole meal, and how much of it, the meal did you end up getting by the time you're done?
No. I wanted it to be a complete meal. I mean, like nutritionally.
What do you mean?
Have all the nutrients.
Oh, because jambalaya has everything that a healthy growing person could want.
Well, it's got the 3 meats and then like 4 pounds of vegetables throughout the whole pot.
It has 3 meats and 4 pounds of
So
vegetables.
2 pounds of meat, 4 pounds of
That's
vegetables.
a lot.
Yes, yeah, and a lot. It's a giant pot.
How do you feel after you eat it?
It's good, it still is. It's got, like, you can feel the taste of the vegetables. Later if you want some.
It tastes like what now?
You can taste because I use so meat, so it's a tangy taste.
It's got a tangy taste.
Yeah, it's got a tang to it. Yes, you can taste the vegetables and shrimp.
Tastes more like vegetables.
Vegetables and meats and shrimp. It's got a shrimpy flavor, it's got a spicy kind of a zesty. I can give you some.
Alright. Thank you.
Yeah, pretty cool. Kind of like a Spanish rice with a ton of vegetables and meat. So that it's a complete meal.
Because then I'm like non-dominant hand, balancing my foot, using the other eye. I feel like this one's not all the way. Down it there.
Well, your video is filming.
It's flowing or still going?
It's filming.
It's going?
Yeah, you're still live on the
Yeah,
air.
I'm supposed to be. We're recording the clean.
The guy says he ate his bed.
Any people there? You may say hello to them if you like.
Do so far, don't say fucking name, but for your name is Sophia.
You have to say it louder or I won't be able to hear.
I don't know what this is.
It's just my video channel.
No, I don't know what these comments
So I
are.
started recording my cleaning this morning, and I started on my house. And I figured if I'm gonna clean my house, I've watched videos where people clean houses. It's deeply satisfying, and I figured you and I could do a bit of a, what do you call it? Conversational. Well, oh, look at your lid is gonna be over here. Your chili lid. Go get it.
Right.
Okay, it's in this pile. It's one of these. Who knows which one?
This one. too, so. Yeah, the sponge has to be gone. We're gonna start doing some of that myself.
Okay. There we go.
I'm gonna clean up the rest of this business. Yeah.
I'm almost out in a minute because my therapy starts in like 15 minutes. I'm gonna clean it when I'm done. Just
Oh no, is the rag work?
I'm almost done. This is
I'm gonna go get stuff today.
like what?
Gotta get some sponges
Yeah, you need a blood test.
and. I'm gonna make a list. I'm gonna go to the store. And this has caffeine, yeah?
Yeah. It's supposed to go like this.
Baking soda. Yeah, baking soda.
You're asking me?
There's baking soda in this apparently.
I'm gonna let this one soak for a little while. Because that'll lid for your chili. Or was it too overwhelming? It looks like it could be this one. I'm not Dumbledore. You're trying to cast me as Dumbledore. Someone in my personality part system is like, one of my Hermione's is like, pretend to be Dumbledore today, so we can do like Monty Python and run around. Okay. I didn't say that was not a yes. That was not a yes. Okay. Who gave you cheese sticks? You have a house filled with cheese sticks. Piles of brim with sticky cheese. No. No, I'm not Dumbledore. No, I have a Hermione part in my multiple personality system that wants my host part to pretend to be Dumbledore so they can pretend to play fun games today. But I don't want to primarily play Dumbledore. No! She's like, you could pretend you look like a young Dumbledore right now. No! I'm a girl. I don't want to turn into Dumbledore right now. No, thank you. Not unless it was a huge trick. Like, look at Mystique. How often is she changing into Dumbledore? Just randomly changes into Dumbledore for any odd reason? No. There'd have to be a major plot for me to even appear to look as Dumbledore and take over his body. You're going to come with another field mission operation there, sweetheart. Dumbledore, you're going to have to get possessed by a field of... What? We don't want cats to be traumatized by his ugly mom. Okay. Face lice. Face lice are Dumbledore's spiritual guide for the day. Skin lice. They live on everybody's eyebrows. That way I don't have to worry about you too much. Thanks. You're not my primary part. Okay, so... Now. Cleaning the elusive coffee pot is fun.
Ow! There's a needle in there. There's a needle in that there, you sack. I watch my P's and Q's around that one. There's a dangerous city. I don't know. There's a needle in a haystack. Oh! I don't know. All I know is my therapy session is starting any minute, and then I'm gonna hang up on my YouTube audience as if I never knew you. Just kidding. Okay, let's see. I feel like there is something suspiciously sharp in here, but it could maybe not be a needle. Derek is known for leaving sewing needles. It's an issue. They're everywhere, and if you clean with the rag and you do not stop what you're doing to inspect the rag periodically, you'll get random pokes. I have a friend, his name's Bill Fox, and his mom was a nurse, and he had a girlfriend named Ann. And Ann was over one day, and somehow Bill's mom something had happened, and I don't know if they got in her stuff or what happened, but somehow a needle was on the floor. And she's a nurse, but I think she had I don't know what happened. If she had diabetes or something, but somehow a needle was left on the floor. I don't know to this day why the needle was on the floor. I have no idea. Maybe the nurse was shooting up heroin at home. I have no fucking clue. But Bill's mom, I have no clue what she was doing. The woman acting as nurse at that time. A woman acting as a nurse at that time. But whatever happened, Ann stepped on it, and the needle went all the way through her foot and came out the other side. And they had to go to the hospital so they could treat her with antibiotics and pull the needle out and shit. Yeah, that was from a nurse, an actual RN leaving a needle on the floor somehow. We don't even know. I don't remember if she had diabetes or what the reason was, but your house got into the wow zone. Into the wowzers. You guys are eating? Not everybody can do that at their house as quickly as you. This is the extreme end. Okay. Let common sense dictate right now.
That's it?
Mm-mm. Basically, I got kidnapped by this family and forced into a cult, and to this day, I am paid an hourly wage, but to this day, I'm not allowed to go back to my normal life, and I have to clean for them daily and stuff, or else I'll be thrown into newer land, or I don't know what. It's been a 26 year. I don't mind this kid, but it's been 26 years. Thievery from his father. I mean, at least I get paid for coming over here, but he's 25 years old, and I had an entire life before I was kidnapped in a cult and held at gunpoint. And I even built a business while I was in the cult. And the business was taken and stolen, literally. I've never seen a penny of it. And a totally unrelated electric company business. So it's been a non-stop. So it's been at a certain point you just go, you know what? God isn't in the house of God. When I was not a Christian, my life quality was so much better, and Christianity did nothing for my finances, my friends, my hobbies, my personal life, my imaginary life. In every single way, Christianity is a ripoff. And also, the 10 Sephirot Kabbalah system is just Christianity, so it's also a ripoff. It's the same thing. So, it's Joseph's dream, obviously. Joseph is a type of Jesus. He had a dream that all his siblings would bow to him. You guys are acting it out with your 10 Sephirot system, your merciless visor of Egypt system, where you all like to say the tribes are lost because you know that you're standing there lost as fuck when you teach that shit. Therapist will call in a minute. Should get mad a little bit. We don't want you too mad.